I am really excited today because this is the first time that I will be streaming Enshrouded on my channel and actually just hanging out and playing with you guys. I know I've done, at this point, I suppose, 3 videos on Enshrouded, but it has actually been probably, I think pretty solidly, my most why am I echoing? Why am I echoing? Okay, sorry about that. Okay, that should be better. And yeah, so I got completely distracted, but I'm excited to be doing Enshrouded. It's my most played game of the past couple of years, and I've been excited with the videos that I have done for it, but yeah, we haven't actually done much just hanging out and playing, so it'll be interesting to see how that goes. Hopefully, the big boxes with my face and chat and the empty cat bed, the cat cam, don't take up too much space with this game, but I think they are mostly out of the way. So to catch you all up, well, before we catch you all up, maybe I should catch you all up on my general experience with Enshrouded. We have played most of the game on we've played most of the game on two set of characters really, and then we have a bunch of various worlds that are at various points in the game and various characters that are at various points in the game. That's really the simple way to say all that. And with update 8, the recent major update for the game, and starting sharing Enshrouded on YouTube, we decided to make a new world. That's we, as in my wife and me. She's a little bit off screen there, but she's the wizard over there, aka the camera wizard from earlier. But we decided to make a new world for the update and sharing on YouTube, and that is this world. And a part of this world was making Peaceful Acres our starter base and basically working on fixing this up. We actually added one brand new building, which is right here. It's still a little bit rough, to be honest, around exactly around the building with the terrain and how it fits into the base, but that's something for later. We just got it as a place to, something interesting to build, and a place to store our stuff, have our beds, and have a place that we can go and be comfortable and be all set. There are a lot of chests here, which are really convenient because I have a ton of stuff in my inventory that I do not need in my inventory, so I shall be sorting that. I'll put, this is a lot of building related stuff. Probably put the camera in here with this stuff, I don't really know. Fireflies, I don't even think we have fishing rods. So we're like really early in this game, just to give you all some context. We are really early in this game. We have not even unlocked a single survivor. And yeah, I'm gonna put some shroud stuff up there. I have no idea where I'm putting stuff, by the way. It's just kind of, there's a ton of chests here, and yeah, we got a lot of space. I think there we go. That's at least somewhat sort of organized-ish. I never did add light to the outside of this, so I might go ahead and do that. I feel like torches can feel a little bit messy, but I have those, might as well place them down somewhere. They're not really in the best spots necessarily. Not terrible, but yeah, we'll go with that. But there's a lot of work that this base could use. But first, I really think we need to adventure and unlock the survivors and get some progress into the world before we really start tackling some of this base. As my wife gets set up, to have a quick walkthrough, and first I should acknowledge chat, Sand and Snow there. Glad to see you. It's certainly been a while, but I do remember you hanging out in a lot of streams and, from what I remember, videos. But yeah, this is a little place that we started just to hold our stuff when we moved here, and this is an interesting building that almost looks like a barn, but not 100%. It definitely looks like it could be a barn, though. It looks more like a storage shed, a kind of giant storage shed at that, but it's very disheveled. Similarly, the big house here, the nice house on the right, at least coming into the base from the front gates, this one I think is a lot of potential. It's also a little bit of a mess, so we will need to clean this up, do a lot of patching. But I think in this base in general, my goal would be to eventually restore this building while adding some of our own tweaks to it. And I think this is largely where our survivors will go. This will kind of, I think, end up being a survivor hall. So there's a lot of room for them and even a lot of room for their craft stations. And then quite conveniently, you can just place all their beds up here. This is already like pre-done in this building where there's a whole bunch of beds up here. So it did make sense to continue with basically more beds up here. You can, of course, decorate it. And obviously there's some holes in the floor that might maybe need patching at some point. And then there is also a basement that could store more stuff. That's a little bit far off. It's also a little bit dark down here. I had a torch at some point. There we go. I also should probably... Oh, I did go to the water well. Good, because we do actually have hunger on in this world, so I gotta pay attention to that. And yeah, there's actually a little rat nest here, so you even basically have a pet bed. So yeah, there's also, we never actually did open this. We probably should open this while it's here. There's a silver chest down here, and yeah. Hello, Reminiscent. We do still have the cat, so I actually have 2 cats. I used to have 2 cats as well. They are Piper and Lexi. Both of them are on the floor under where you all can see. Piper's waiting for her food. She actually has a feeder that should be going off in 49 minutes, so some might say she's early, but she'd probably prefer to think of herself as a wizard, and she is there precisely when she means to be. And then Lexi is... I don't know where she went. She might have gone to the other room. Alright. But yeah, that's the general idea with this world and this base. And then our characters. I am playing a melee character because in Update 8, the melee got a pretty significant overhaul where you have different types of attacks. Of course, it takes a little bit. Actually, you start off with those attacks, but then there are even other attacks that take a little bit to get to. What is your spec, by the way? Do you have double jump?
No.
Okay, so I think with my skill points, I'm going to go ahead and reset those. I basically got those. Oh, we don't have runes, so I can't actually do that. I basically got the skill points that I got because that was for a part of the building. I was like, I want to chop the wood faster as we did things, so I went ahead and got that, but I'll keep that for now. It's not that big of a deal. I should probably take some food with me. So I'll go get that. Oh, wow. We actually have... I'll take a grilled lean meat, then I'll take a water pouch. That'll help sustain me. And I think I will take a bow. Did my, I can't hear my game anymore. With the issues of me, okay. One moment here. Yeah, I think I have my laptop up here, which seems to be on, decided to be on Bluetooth and connected to my headphones. There we go. I can hear the sound now. I don't know if you all were able to hear the game sound, but I can now hear that and should be all caught up with that. I think I got the... No, I didn't make arrows. Okay. I didn't realize how unprepared this character was for this. I might have done this cleanup ahead of time. But essentially, I'm doing melee. I got a great sword, so that is pretty great. I'm just going to, as a backup, I think have some arrows, but I should loot twigs along the way and shouldn't need that many. I got a little bit of food and I got a water pouch, so I think I am finally set. I do have my torch as well. Okay, there we go. I don't think I need much more anything. So with us being very early in the game, we actually still need to go to the blacksmith. So I'm going to try to set that as a waypoint. I think it might be helpful if we actually go back to our first little area, and you all will get to see some behind the scenes. If you saw my most recent video on this building a starter base, this is actually the first build, or building a starter base, building a starter house. This is actually the first build of that. So this was me planning out and some different ideas there. Those kind of ended up being not quite ideal, but just some different ideas here. It ended up being mostly a shell because we are really early in the game, and actually we could use all the resources that we spent building this. So this is mostly an empty shell now, but this is what I based the guide off of, was building in this area first. So it's just a little behind the scenes of that. There's actually 2 of those houses in this world. But I think from here we are good to head north and actually get adventuring. I anticipate that there will be a decent bit of adventuring in this stream, because really I think to expand our base and make some progress on the starter base, we kind of need the survivors and the stuff that they make. Especially I think the carpenter would be helpful, because wow, I am doing quite terribly here. But we need the stuff, and then the magic chest will be really helpful with the building, as well as just general crafting of the stuff. It's such a huge convenience having magic chests. I kind of wish in this game all chests kind of by default worked as magic. Okay, probably don't need to chase those. It goes everywhere. I'm getting a little bit distracted there. Yeah, I'm really interested to see as we get further into the game, and might even be able to see some of this as we progress today, how the combat really feels with the update. I know all the weapons, all the melee weapons now have a new attack where if you hold the click, you will do a heavy attack. And then oh, that's just a torch. So we did already get the lore pages and stuff here. We can break stuff, but honestly, with our inventory space, it's a little bit of a concern. Twigs aren't bad just in case I need arrows. Would you be ready to just run straight to the blacksmith? Okay. So we will be running straight to the blacksmith through the shroud here. We've already been in the shroud a little bit to collect shroud wood for that starter house. Which, speaking of, that's actually another part that I really like about the starter house, is we were able to use something more interesting than basic wood and basic stone, because right off the bat you can pretty much get flintstone, and I personally think that looks a lot better than stone for most cases. Certainly not every case, but at least for most cases. And then the basic wood, oh, this is different maybe? Actually, I might remember there being a cave up here. We have played this game in this area so many times on different characters in various worlds again that I feel like I know most of the world, but they've also updated it over time. So I don't actually know if this was like this the last time we went through this. But yeah, the shroud wood looks a lot more refined than the basic wood. Looks like there is a campfire here, so that you can cook in. I guess this one stays lit because it's for tutorial, even when it is raining, so we can cook our raw wolf meat here. Get an extra food source. Then there is a lore page here. I am curious, for people watching, would you like more time spent on the lore pages? Usually, especially with the way this is split up, I would kind of skim them and typically read them the first time, but maybe not super thoroughly. But then with replays of the game, I treat it more as a, okay, I've collected this, and then later I can go back and look at a more complete story after we get more, or ideally, all of the lore pages. So let me know what you think about that. Also, I've heard from people in Update 8 that it caused performance issues and stutters and different things, and I did not experience that until a more recent patch that was supposed to fix performance issues for others. It just made I'm starting to have a little bit of stutters in the game. I changed some of my settings, and one particular setting that helped was actually turning NVIDIA Reflex off. When I had it on, the stutters were really bad, which you all can probably see. That actually got still stuttering. That is, it's when moving in particular. Just standing here and turning the camera around, it's fine, but it's the moving that the stuttering happens. And it used to be completely fine and smooth for me until the most recent patch, which was supposed to make performance better. So I find it kind of funny that it sort of had the opposite effect for me. I don't know if anybody else had that, but yeah, it's pretty fine with the reflex off and doing mostly well, so can't complain too much. Although here it's still getting stuttery. I was a little bit worried about this. I kind of forgot about it because I've been working so much in the base. I think when staying in that same area with the base, it has been fine. After a little bit of time, so I was kind of worried loading new areas that it might come back. Alright, so clearing out this area. I believe a torch will work better against the bees. Alright, we are also playing with weapon durability and the such, so having a repair like that is very convenient. Thought there was a grapple. Maybe it's the other tower. This is my first time, of course, sharing the game with you all and doing the stream of it, but something that's a little bit different with that is because I already have experience playing the game, is I've already done this bit, and at least with that I could share stories from first times going through this. I remember this area, we were quite new and newbies back then, but this area was kind of interesting because it just looked different. This was the first thing with the ancients that we had. It was unlocking the survivor. That was all new and odd, and I'm kind of used to Minecraft where there are like no NPCs besides in villages. There are of course the villagers, but that's kind of, I basically didn't expect there to be so many NPCs in this game, and that actually seems to be a more common thing with the genre as a whole. Oh, I actually already have 2 rings, so I'll have to, actually there is a way to compare, I believe. And it'd be kind of convenient if you could compare right away. So that's a health. Do you need a health ring?
I've got one empty in my...
Okay, there you go. Alright, can I make a lockpick? Yes. But yeah, it was quite different, and that with the survivors, it was a bit interesting with that, and just something new that I had to learn with this game. Can't wait to show you these boxes without blowing ourselves up. Nope. I actually did not think that the swing would trigger the explosion. Yeah. You know what? We got a health potion out of it. I consider that worth it.
I don't have any healing spells yet, so...
I should have bandages, but I completely forgot to make some. I also might have enough plant fiber that I could turn into string. Not quite. But that's okay. Don't worry, there's definitely safe in here. This is a horrible mess of my bars. Fell down, went boom, basically. Or went boom, fell down, I think would be the... Oh, thank you. Would be the order. There we go. The flute just went into my normal backpack and not that. Also, I can equip my bow. That would be something. Take it, you wanted me to use that bandage?
It might be nice.
Ooh. It's like my eyes are actually adjusted to the outside because I could not see coming in here. I'm used to having evasion attack, which is something you can get with a bit more skill points than you do an attack when you, after a dodge, you can do an attack that quite lunges towards the enemy quite nicely. Does Hannah tell you said you don't mind it either way when it comes to having the stories open? It'd be cool to read through it. That's most likely going to miss stuff either way. Yeah, that's definitely, I think, fair that it'd be easy to miss a part and then still having to piece it together a little bit. It's also something that I don't always pay the best attention of, is like whatever the lore is going on in a game. I try to get at least a high level idea and do try a little bit, but I'm still not the best. So with that, we got our first survivor. We kind of discovered the soul is the way that works, and then we'll be able to summon him wherever with that summoning staff that we unlock the recipe for, which you just turn some twigs into that fancy little thing, and back at our base we would be able to summon him. But I'm curious, my inventory is not entirely full, and there is a quite convenient objective nearby. Oh, that's different. Undiscovered Braylon Bridge. Yeah, that's different than it used to be. Bridge construction report. Don't know what that is. I know with the update, they also updated some of the adventuring and the way quests display and the map display and the way quests work even a little bit. So that's all different looking. Ooh, small chest at workbench. That was going to come quite in handy. But yeah, this is something that's kind of sort of metagaming in a way. I know that going to that spire right there would be very convenient for us, because that would give us a source of transport and can instantly teleport to one of those from basically anywhere in the world. And if we wanted to come back here, that would be convenient to go up and get that. But that also makes me think, how would we get down? Well, normally there is a glider in this game, but we do not have that yet. I think we can actually make those, but we don't actually have those, and I just noticed that, so that's something we would have to work on. So that was my question for you. What do you want to do?
I think glider is cool. I also think we use most of our shroud wood for walls.
Okay,
so
we did.
Need some more of
We
that.
need shroud wood. Okay, so it sounds like for gliders we need some shroud wood. So we could go down in the shroud, and there's also this elixir well here, which could be interesting to hit. With that, the elixir well will help get us some skill points. I assume at some point we'd get a quest to direct us there if we don't just randomly run to it and discover it on our own. Which, that's when we first played this game. Something I like to do with open world games is just go out randomly adventuring, and sometimes very purposefully ignoring whatever the game tells you to do. So this is quite fitting for me. It's a little bit harder, I think, to be just adventurous really randomly, having played through so much of the game before, because I kind of know what's on the other side of this wall or the other side of this hill, whereas that wasn't the case before. And I think going through our first time, or even first couple times, we kind of went all about different ways that were perhaps odd, but it's just in the spirit of being adventurous. This reminds me of a story that I have quite detailed, and where did all these guys come from? Quite detailed in an upcoming video. This video was actually planned before we decided to start covering Enshrouded with update 8. This video has a little portion of it already done, but it's like a partially done video is what I mean in the process of making video. But it got myself all distracted. Hourglass to restore our shroud time. It's not running too low, but we might as well do that. This time I'm actually following what the game wants me to do. So this is about where you would first cross the shroud to get to the blacksmith if you're following the general directions of the game. And then to the east here is where the elixir well is going to be. So we can head down that way. We also do need shroud wood, I seem to recall, so I might chop some trees on the way here. But in that video, a little portion of it is about sharing a story of one of our grand adventures in the early days of this game. And basically, I'll have more details of it in the video, but basically we decided to go to a part of the world that we didn't even know existed because it was early access, and for me, I really had no idea how much this game had with early access. I expected it to have a lot less. Like looking at the map, the map goes way out over here. I thought for early access, like I honestly thought the map was pretty much infinite and it's just showing a border, but I thought basically early access is about where I'm circling on the mouse with the cursor there. I did not think that there was a vast world. So we basically just kept going and kind of terraforming with our pickaxes and making our way places that were well beyond where our characters ought to be going. But it was all in basically the name of adventure and adventuring together and making... Oh dear, I have made a mess here. Speaking of making. Oh no. Oh, I was hoping I blocked in time. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, he's okay. He's just throwing bombs at me. They're doing that much damage. I think the problem is if he shoots me here, I'm probably gonna die.
Oh, no.
I don't know though. He seems to not be a very skilled archer. He should take some lessons from Louis Luss. Actually, that would probably make him even worse somehow. Oh dear. Also, good evening, Miss Bella Games. All these critters. I'm going to chicken out and use my potion there. These critters are the bane of my existence. I think besides falling, and especially when roofing, they are probably the number one cause of my death. The combat related cause of my death. They are, I believe, number one. The two-hander is relatively slow. I suppose it might be a little bit difficult for you all to tell watching, but like the delay from a clicking to actually and being where I could come in contact with enemies. And then combat also, it definitely took some time to get used to in this game. But with combat, your attacks don't always have the biggest impact on enemies. Like, something I've even noticed with this update is that I can hit an enemy and then be mid-swing and they would still hit me, which I think is a little bit different than some other games. And it can take a little bit of getting used to. We're also oh, I guess we are level 3. But we're perhaps not the best prepared for these guys, because with the blacksmith we would unlock recipes for armor. We might even have a little bit better weapons by the time we head here, but I think this would be like one of the first steps. Here's the spawner, so maybe that's where all the archers are coming from. Apparently I'm level 4 already, probably due to all my mining to get the flintstone for the starter house. That was a little bit spooky. Oh, I'm getting stuck on a little mound of shroud stuff. Oh, I actually ran out of shroud time. I did not even pay attention to that. You're at like 10 seconds.
Oh no.
Well, I might have to come back.
No, where's the...
Don't worry, even after all this playtime in the game, we are still definitely noobs, so that's about what you can expect from my channel. Still happening. Well,
that was
there we are. Here the stutters are back. That is quite unfortunate. It really does seem to get okay after a little bit of looting, but I wonder... Oh yeah, should we get rested? Oh yeah, and repair. We can repair while here.
Yeah.
Oh, do we want to summon the blacksmith while we're up here? I know it's not in our base, but
I'm okay with
we could get some stuff from him. Actually, I don't have twigs. Never mind. It's probably best to wait anyway.
Okay.
Continue our adventure proper.
I'll live with those. I am also out of fire bolts. I did not bring enough.
Ah, that's unfortunate. I did get a staff though. I know it's not too much help right now, but that's something.
Alright.
Alright. Head to our tombstones and elixir well and properly challenge whatever's there. So, I am going to somewhat safely jump down this cliff, I think.
Oh dear.
Somewhat. This part's a little bit spooky. Yeah, that's fine. Are you... okay.
I stopped.
Yep, I went just to the right there and kind of slid down as safely as I could.
Oh. Should I try again? Because
I think so. I don't think I can back up to you.
Hey, gummit! I got resin in my inventory for my fire bolts, but I didn't make them, so I lost the resin.
Oh no.
I should have paid the firebolts, but I didn't want to get left behind.
Okay.
I'm behind now.
I'm going to... I think I might have gotten a little bit of shroud wood there, but I'm pretty sure this all fell. I'm going to just clear out some of the critters around the base here. Also, it's also in the spirit of adventure, coming back, just scaling down the cliff. That's sort of near-ish where you need to go instead of going back the road the way you came. The only problem is I am maybe a little bit slightly concerned about running out of shroud time. Okay.
No.
I wonder, you might be going down. I didn't realize how far away you were. Might be going down a different area than I went. Ooh, there's a silver chest here. Rusty greatsword, so that's another greatsword. It's blue instead of purple. Do we prefer rusty or scrappy? At least I can feel all powerful beating up level 1s. I guess I did loot that plain masterful mace. I think that was a two-handed hammer earlier, but yeah, it's kind of funny with this character. All I've gotten are great swords. Are you doing okay? Do you want me to come back up?
I just keep dying. I don't know.
Okay, that's okay.
I'm not sure
I can
what
I can actually get out of the shroud right here, it looks like.
Okay.
I did not know that was gonna be that easy. Do we have beds up here?
No.
I think we took them down to
Yeah.
actually take them to our proper house. Again, the shell of a house, it's a complete fake house. Where you took everything inside to actually put in the proper starter house at the proper base. Okay. I was curious about passing the night, but we should make sure we get your stuff. Otherwise, I would say we could go the actual path, which has beds and a tent along the way. Okay. So here's your stuff.
Yeah, that's where I fell.
Okay, I got your stuff.
Very nice.
And then apparently got blue guy chasing you.
Yep.
Also, to clarify, this is probably going to happen several times throughout any sort of enshrouded stream, is we have kind of grown to call these fell blue guys.
You're magic.
And is this the one you kept dying on?
This is the one I died on first, and then I kept finding different ones to die on, trying to get back here.
Okay, yeah. Interesting. But yeah, we have grown to call those the fell blue guys before we even knew what they were called. So that's where that comes from, and you might hear that. And we mainly called them that because they were blue colored and had a little bit of a blue aura about them. I don't think that particular jump is all too important. Do you have berries or anything?
Yes.
Okay. So our stuff is down there. I can see a lantern, but not our stuff. Alright. One thing that I have noticed though in this game is one of the updates made it a lot more... Hey, there's out of the shroud right here. Made it a lot more difficult to see inside the shroud, which I kind of get the idea of the effect, but I've noticed it almost more frustrating than anything because it's like I would kind of like to see what's going on and see where I'm going. So it's a bit unfortunate. I think the thing that maybe bothers me most with that is that with a light, like with a torch, it's even harder to see, and there are some rings that provide light. So you light up the area around you, and it's like basically having a torch that you wear, and I love that. Except for in the shroud, so it's like I basically need a different set of rings if I'm in the shroud or out of the shroud. And it's... I guess not the most entertaining to me. I don't know of any particular fix to kind of keep the sense of difficult exploring and navigation and oppressive environment of the shroud. I think this should be a safe jump. We'll see. Yeah, that's pretty safe. Hey, you made it.
Yes.
Alright, so we have one tombstone up this way. This one is mine. Also, don't mind my name too much, Peaceful Lou. I clearly am not that peaceful, but that's because this is our Peaceful Acre starter base world, so that was kind of what names that I had left, variations of Lou and Louie. That was kind of what I ended up choosing. I also thought it would be a little bit funny to have peaceful in my name and be melee character that's like, not that a wizard is any less peaceful, but I'm like very hands-on with my lack of peace. Do you know where your stuff is? I don't. There's the marker. Yours is by there's a beefy guy with a sword.
Of course. I'd be fine if that was you.
Yeah, I feel slightly less beefy than him, but you could maybe consider me that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my, I think I dodged, like I was blocking and then I dodged. It was just a perfect amount where he somehow hit me between the block and dodge, even though I went straight from the block to the dodge, I think. It was like really the most unfortunate timing. Well, we got our stuff.
Could you pass me the resin you picked up from my...
Resin, sure. And then I have meat to eat before we go in. Otherwise, I think I would be pretty set. I might give you my shroud one. And my shroud liquid. And my string. This is basically what I do. She carries all my extra stuff for when my inventory runs out. It's just sort of just a system that we have. How many arrows do I have? I don't know how many I'll end up using, but I might as well turn our twigs into some. Alright, you ready to tackle the elixir well?
Mm-hmm. As long as there's not jumping involved.
Oh. Well, too late for that. Sometimes I know they like to hide chests on the, on the way down with the elixir wells. There's a wand that might be of interest to you. I don't know what you have. It's a fire wand.
Yeah, love that shroud. Yeah. No, that's nice.
As much as we are using the weapons that we are intending our characters to be built for at this point, this might be a good time to point out, I actually do have 2 skill points, but this might be a good time to point out we have basically no skill points, and I have nothing that like very specifically says at this point that this character is a warrior. It's just what I intend him to go, so I'm kind of starting out with that and getting used to it. Normally I would probably pick a wizard, and at some point I might randomly change this character to a wizard, just because that's what I enjoy. That's what my first character was, and I do enjoy that, but I wanted to test out the updated melee gameplay, and I thought this character would be a good opportunity for that, because I was really excited for that. That was one of the big things with update 8, was the combat rework. Which it is quite different than it used to be. Like, it's still the same game and same very general feel. Oh, must have got the mycelium. I guess we haven't dug up mycelium yet. It's actually a little bit impressive. Well, mycelium, and then I think there's also active mycelium now. Mm-hmm. Which I kind of forget about. I know you do good with all the digging. Maybe this patch I'll be able to get. And if you all feel like the audio and animation of the pickaxe is desynced, that's because it is, but I believe it to be a known issue. Wow, the inventory really is getting full. Alright, so, first shroud route, and there's the big bad boss. The Fell Thunder route. I guess I can charge in. I'm admittedly a little bit scared. Oh, that's gonna hurt. Yep. I think I dodged basically right into it. I get the advantage of being able to watch the other screen while you all just get to see a bunch of red. Is it worth me returning?
If you want it. Oh,
okay.
Boy.
So I can just respawn and run back and actually be mostly helpful-ish. I try to have a little bit of confidence in my ability to help, but oh my, that's, yeah. Fortunately, I just hit a little block there, so I didn't completely die on that fall down. I feel like my dodges aren't working all that well. I keep dodging right into their swings, which I thought there was something in the update that was maybe supposed to make dodges make you invulnerable, but I certainly have not experienced that today. I know the one I dodged right into his smash, so that one, but there's been 2 times now. I've actually noticed that I've been hit in the middle of a dodge that seemed like I maybe shouldn't have. It's just something I'm also paying extra attention to with thinking about the update. Ooh, heavy attack with the axe. Thing with the heavy attacks is I don't know how useful they will be, especially with like the greatsword having a long wind up there, and you can't like charge it. You're kind of, once you do the hold to click, you're stuck doing that. You can't get out of that animation. Like if I saw something that I wanted to dodge, it takes that long. Like after I let go of the click, it takes a long while before I can actually dodge or do anything. And getting stuck and stuff like that can be a bit costly. Alright. So yeah, we've conquered the shroud root. That got us some skill points. We conquered the elixir well. That's the shroud root and the elixir well. I think there's a decent bit of active mycelium here that might be worthwhile to dig up, if we can handle the desync. I don't know what all active mycelium is used for. That's something that was before our first like really solid playthrough of the game, our first 3 really, because we each in our group of 3 we had, each of us eventually played each of the main basically specializations or archetypes in the game, so it worked out well with that. But since then I have not done a lot of like really paying attention to exactly what needs what in terms of the new stuff, which would include something like active mycelium. Do you remember what all active mycelium is used for?
I think it's the like things like enshrouded oil.
Okay.
So it's a bunch of laboratory things. It's all alchemist. Magic.
Okay, so it sounds like it's mostly alchemist related stuff, which honestly sounds about right. This does look like it'd be used in some sort of alchemy. It would be interesting to share some of our older worlds. I'm thinking, in particular, there's this newish world that we started. So this one we have characters that are about level 16, I want to say. They just started Nomad Highlands. This would have been maybe a month or 2 ago. I guess at this point, probably a couple months ago. That they it's been a pretty slow progressing world that we've just done over time, but the idea with this world is we're going to build up a pretty large base. It was gonna be kind of in a village style, but it was really large, and we actually used 4 flame altars for it, so we could build up a really large area just having the 4 together. All right, do you think that's good, or do you want to get some more?
No, I'm content.
All right. And we shall head to our proper base. But with that world, that's our most recent one, and I think it could be interesting to share that, especially some of the more building related ideas with it, but also the adventuring on those characters. We have some interesting, not really hard and set rules, but some general like guidelines that we go by. This is almost how I describe it. All right, so one thing that I want to point out with the space as we return, you all might notice this huge wall of chests here. This is probably a little bit excessive for where we are at in the game, but it's something I just wanted to put in for the video just to show a completed wall of chests here. This is perhaps a little bit excessive for what we have, but maybe not entirely. There's only one column of them empty, but we also get access to new chests. As you all saw, we already got a recipe for new chests. I just put random stuff in there, didn't I? That's, yeah, the depositing stuff into chests in this game, unfortunately, is a little bit inconvenient. There is automatic deposit, and I'm using the old keybind, aren't I? Oh my. So the old keybind was Shift R to deposit similar in a chest, and now I guess it's just R. And then hold R is apparently the one that deposits all, so that's kind of interesting. Let's see. And then do we have a workbench in here? Oh no, my. That was a major oversight of this build. Yeah, wow. I can't believe that. I'm so used to always having workbenches all around over the place. I think I just completely forgot about that for that build, so that's interesting. That is a pretty big oversight for that one. That's kind of funny. But I think it's okay. That's not really ideal, but it kind of works. It kind of works. You could always put the workbench over here, or this table instead, or I don't know. You could find somewhere for it, but yeah, that's perhaps not quite ideal. You could also go with less sitting space and maybe do something more like that, and then put this a little bit more of a not just shoved in there feel. Or something like that, but it's still definitely a little bit odd. But this is really exciting with this. We got small chests, but the more exciting thing is that we got small magic chests. And magic chests are special in this game because you can craft from them. You don't have to actually have everything in your inventory to do your crafting, so, and building nowadays. So that's pretty exciting to be able to do those. But the depositing's still going to be a little bit special. It's something I actually noticed playing Windrose, that I liked their system of where it was just like you could just look at the chest and press a button and deposit similar. I know later in this game there's a little stack depositor box thing that will deposit to nearby magic chests, but that's after playing something like Windrose, that feels slightly convoluted and is something that would be actually rather convenient. I guess salt has mined up, so we can put that there for now. And then metal sheets is something that's different, but probably fits well enough there. Old books, yeah, that can go in the empty one. But yeah, it might be a little bit before we can actually make these magic chests. But yeah, that's something that will be exciting to get to, and those do use active mycelium, so that makes me glad that we decided to go ahead and mine a bunch of that up. But the big thing we unlocked, of course, is the blacksmith, and we actually need to place him down after getting somewhat organized here. So, in the starter base I mentioned earlier, but our plan is to have all the survivors in the big building. Problem is our altar radius doesn't really go much into this big building, but we will at least be able to still have room for them in this little side portion of the building. I think we can also link him to a bed nearby, but he might have automatically linked to it. I know they're a little bit weird that way. We also will probably set him to not roam, because the roaming can be a touch annoying with survivors at times, especially depending on the exact base, and probably don't need him getting lost in this particular one. So yeah, the carpenter for the storage automator, that does make sense. Hopefully he can do it pretty early on. I know there's like a small range one and long range one. Yeah. We'll be able to make his charcoal kiln. The stone, I don't know if we have enough metal scraps and charcoal. Well, of course we don't have enough charcoal yet, but metal scraps, wood logs, and stone for the forge, but we can see. Another exciting bit with him, of course, is making armor. And then he can also upgrade things like my scrappy greatsword here. Of course we need runes, but I could get pretty significant upgrades on that and get it to level 5. Actually, this hatchet, wow, I did not realize this hatchet was level 6. That's pretty crazy. That's probably stronger than my greatsword already. So I might be swapping to one-hander here for a little bit. And then yeah, I can also upgrade the ring. It looks like I can get some cutting armor and stamina regeneration on it. So that'll be exciting to get towards this stuff. But yeah, we need, what is it, stone, metal scraps, and wood logs. I also should probably have food before I starve. So let's see if I can make it to the water well. I'm definitely not pushing it by doing that. All right, fill my water. I also have the very fun felling axe special. I just see it glowing this whole time, so. Oh my, that wolf is going to kill me in the middle of that. Of my low health. I've gotten so used to, I think, the larger base areas and just being in a base-like area that just outside the altar radius there definitely can be wolves and other dangers. I guess I should get my tombstone. Oh.
I just had twigs.
Okay.
You want them?
A little bit.
Okay. You can have them.
Good. Got my twigs back. Oh my! What a rude wolf. This is something that I didn't think about too much. We didn't really run into it too much after clearing, like, oh my, I totally just destroyed those wood panels there, but that's okay. We probably wanted them destroyed anyway eventually. As part of this was, the idea was to start some of the cleanup of this base. And just, it's a little bit time consuming. It makes me feel slow, but I don't know how much it's me being slow versus it just taking some time to get things under control in this game. Alright, so I've just about lost track of, oh, this is different than when I was last here. I can't help but feel like it's more organized. But it's just different. Yeah, there's this stuff. Metal scraps, so stone, metal scraps, and then there was something else I needed. Wood logs, probably? Wood logs never hurt. And the question is maybe where we should put his stuff to start. Do we want to put them inside or outside? I mean, we could always stuff the charcoal kiln in the fireplace.
That would be interesting.
Where's the part you actually access? There it is. I mean, we can always change this out later. Maybe as part of our clearing things up, we'll actually get rid of all this junk. I'm sorry, I feel like the skeleton and those little metal scrappy bits, but yeah, for some reason that makes me happy, and I don't know why. Alright, ooh, I do not have dirt on me. That's unfortunate. I do have the wood logs. Yeah, I'm thinking maybe we can start the kiln and get the forge going. And get towards the forge. What did I need?
Dirt.
Dirt. Yeah, of course. There have been many times in this game where we've gone out on giant dirt collecting adventures because it's so valuable. I think we have enough that we can just go ahead and make a batch of 150 charcoal. This will take 50 minutes to make. The first batch will only take 5 minutes, and I think the first batch will... Oh yeah, there's a cat in the cat cam. I didn't even notice that. I don't know how long she's been there. She's sneaky though. Oh, y'all can kind of see her. Okay, never mind. I thought she might still be visible. She's like in a chair that's right under the cat bed now. She thinks it's her chair. It's got a little cushion on it that she definitely also thinks is her cushion. And then that noise is Piper's feeder, and she's happy. And you all might wonder, how do we have it so one cat's feeder is here and then the other doesn't have that? Well, that's because Piper eats too much food if left to her own devices, and Lexi, if stuck on a feeding schedule or limited by a feeder, she doesn't eat enough food. So we have to find a way to have Lexi's food accessible to her so she doesn't wither away, while also having Piper's food be more limited. So our solution is to place Lexi's food where Piper can't get to it. Maybe with immense effort she could eventually make her way there, but she has not made such an immense effort. Kind of like the shelf. I don't think you can quite build anything like that. So I might actually try to keep that and preserve that. Can't be too reckless with the destroying here. A little bit reckless, sure, but don't want to be too reckless. Looks like you are gathering dirt and stone.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Aha! That does seem to be a good way to get rid of these spider webs. An arrow. I actually wasn't entirely sure if that would work. Another really exciting thing about this is maybe less so... Why does it look like he's been rained on? But maybe a little bit... yeah, another thing exciting about this is for us, we have never actually done a build that is restoring a pre-built area in this game. I know that's something that's relatively common among people that play this, but we always just started from scratch and built things up from the ground by ourselves. So this was an interesting opportunity to actually try to restore and take over a area already in this game. So it's going to be interesting, I think, in doing that. It's just going to take time, and I think that's something from the perspective of doing videos and sharing with it is I'm going to have to adjust to, because to me this feels very rough. This looks quite unpolished. It looks kind of bad, to be honest, but it's a work in progress, and I think that's something I will need to get a little bit better about, coming around to the idea that that is okay and that that's the way it's going to be. So yeah. All right, we can take our charcoal out. Oh, it's not actually done. I assumed with all my rambling that it had been well over 5 minutes by this point. That turns out to not be the case. I really did think that that was probably even going to have 2 batches done. This little wheelbarrow thing is kind of interesting, but I think it's in the way, so it's part of our cleanup. Get rid of that. We can replant a lot of stuff. Ooh, the terrain here is a little wonky. So I can take out this and then do the terrain tool and shoot, shoot, ta-da! It's flattened. There are some holes in it, but we can patch that up with some of the dirt. So that's a little bit better. I honestly don't know what we're gonna do out here with this stuff. I don't have much. I kind of, in a way, I like the wood board path, but it's so... everything is so, like, run down that I think a full-on repair of most of this stuff is really going to be in order. Like this little wagon, that's the word, is a little bit interesting, and maybe the empty barrel in it a little bit less so. But then it's got a whole bunch of grass. It's got like the fertile soil growing in it, but it's like almost something that I could see trying to preserve, because I don't think you can do wagons like this. Maybe you can, because they've added a lot of stuff like this in the game. It's just not stuff that we have done a lot of decorating with. I think when they started adding more of that stuff as well, we were like just doing different things with our builds and playing a little bit less overall, that I just don't have all that much of that stuff. For the stone here, I'm not entirely sure what I want to do with it, but I think eventually we would probably want to take down this wall, because the space is going to be expanded and be perhaps a little bit more seamless, less border. So I think, depending on what you think as well, I think maybe getting rid of these walls would be a good step. Also, if you all have any ideas while watching this, please do let me know. I kind of can go a little bit crazy with my mind, which I think at times can definitely lead to interesting things, but it can also lead to me going down a rabbit hole that really shouldn't be gone down, and that it's something that's actually not at all good. So sanity checks can be helpful, as well as just interesting things to see. I would love this base to be kind of seen as a challenge of new and different things than I might normally do or consider. I realize this also just in general looks quite rough. We can try to patch it up for now. I don't mind doing temporary patches. That's what a lot of the space is going to be. I'd almost be curious. I kind of like the baseline of how that looks, but I'm a little bit curious if there's something that could be done here to actually make this a proper entranceway, but maybe that would actually be this side having a door. Like, thinking about the bigger picture of the building, I really don't mind the face of that. And I don't mind keeping that mostly as is. But this is just something we temporarily punched in so we could have easy access right from our altar and put the survivors as we got them while we keep expanding the base. Yeah, the carpenter making spiral staircases, that's going to be really interesting to play around with. I have not played around with that one. Also, whatever happened there, I don't know what happened to the stream, but Piper pressed buttons. Piper is this one. She pressed buttons and oh, I'm dying. I Shoo. Yeah. Playing this, if we play this game on hardcore, like doing, I don't know how common this is for people to do this with Enshrouded, but playing this on hardcore, where yeah, you die, you delete your world type thing, or like your playthrough's done essentially, I am pretty sure that starving would probably be the first thing to do me in. Just not paying attention at all, messing around a base, and I starved to death. Pike's Port adds arches. Where is Pike's Port? That would be Pike's Mead. That adds arches? Really? I don't think I actually knew about those ones. Well, I knew about arches. I didn't know that was at Pike's Port. I assumed that was somewhere in the Veilwater. Because to clarify, despite all of our playing of this game, we have actually not completed the Veilwater Basin and everything there. I think we've done a decent bit, but we haven't done everything there in our kind of most built up world. So eventually we'll get to it, but yeah, that's where I would have assumed arches were. All right, this is so rough. I didn't realize how low our altar would be, but some good news is it is easy to move the altar if you need to. It's easy as long as everything is within the new altar's radius, everything you want to preserve. And I wouldn't really mess around with moving the altar right now. But I think what I'd be more tempted to do as like even a temporary cleanup is actually lower most of this stuff. I really did not mean to get too much into doing building. Oh, hey, I did actually bury some of these wood. I think at this point I've done so much to it that I should just get rid of it. There might be something interesting we can do there at some point. But yeah, I think I might benefit from lowering everything here. Okay, I'm going to go get terrain materials and see what I can do. So we got field stones. I love field stones. We've even used those as pathing in another world. Dirt road. So there's the smooth stone and the rocky stone road. We have enough stone that I don't mind making actually either of those just to see what they look like, because I honestly forget. So rocky stone road is this one. That looks really dry. That's like my first impression of this. That looks dry and it makes me thirsty looking at that, so I might not go with that one. And then the dirt road block I think would work well. I don't really know the best way to do pathing. This is always something that I have struggled with, but I'd probably end up going, let's see, I'm trying to remember even the way that I do it. So I want a little bit lower. That was the idea. So I'm just going to put this down one block. And then if we had the rake, can we make the rake? If we had the rake, we could do this a little bit more quickly and less resource consuming. Ah, we need string. Ah, we can make string. All right, got a rake. I know the blacksmith can also make a rake, but there we go. So one thing that, oh my, they did actually change the rake. Wow, we were just talking about this, how the rake was like, you basically were locked into this one circle and you were kind of stuck, and the rotation was like really, it was pretty big intervals, kind of like this, and it's like so hard to do anything at a slope. But they have changed the rake. Wow, I wonder when they do this. There's, oh my, wow. I might have to spend a lot of time messing with this. And then even with the scale and size, you can now do a spot like this, like right by the altar where you normally couldn't build. Oh my, this is like, I feel like I'm discovering a completely new tool, because to me this effectively is a completely new tool. Wow, that is something. Actually being able to do a smooth slope, I'll have to maybe show you all at some point. Our village world. To clarify, second village world. Tentatively named Stormbreeze Village. And then you can move it up and down too. Oh my. So if I do that, oh wow. That is so different. That is so smooth. I'm still not going to be any good with this tool in general, but that's different than it used to be. I might actually like the rake now. This isn't all gonna be dirt, just to be clear. I don't know what to do with this area. I think putting a door here, trying to make something a little bit interesting, stick out up here for no good reason at all besides being a door, and maybe peeling back some of the terrain here would perhaps be a little bit longer term. I tried to preserve a lot of what they had here, but I think functionally some of that might have to go and at least be pushed back, even if it's not completely gotten rid of. I think pushed back would be how it might end up working, but I don't really know. The way I build, my wife described it really well recently. I forget what phrasing you used, but I kind of just do whatever on the fly, and I don't always think about a bigger picture or have a plan. It's just like, at this moment, this particular thing sounds interesting, so I'm going to do that, and then we'll suffer whatever consequences that causes down the road, or at least we'll enjoy it. But yeah, something I'm realizing with this altar is I potentially might want it up higher, but I'm not entirely sure. I keep getting distracted. There are so many things. That's kind of one of the fun things of a game like this, but then it makes it feel like certain things might either not get progress at all, or yeah, kind of neglect certain things. I can certainly accidentally neglect adventure at the sake of building and doing stuff like this, and even something like this that doesn't really matter, but it's just like, okay, I can make it look slightly better until we get a better solution. Did I see something pop up? Oh, did you get the charcoal? Okay, cool. Oh, wow. Yeah, because I did mention that there was like a minute something left, and I was like, I assumed that it had been a lot more. Then I got myself really distracted, and we had 3 batches done already. Here's the forge. All right. We could definitely use an indoor forge, right? Oh, it almost fits behind him. You know what? You're gonna go over there, and your forge is gonna go over here, right under the shelf. That's safe. Can I move him? Oh, I can. I can put him right next to his forge. Beautiful. I did not mean to make this a blacksmith's workshop, but that's kind of what it's turning into. All right, sorry. My brain's still going on the rake. That's all I can think about right now. Not even anything particular. I'm just completely amazed by how different it is and how different it feels. I am totally distracted. I have lost all train of thought. That's not raking the ground. For no good reason at all. Oh my, so talking about our village, Stormbreeze village, as it were. It's in the Revelwood. So, but it's in the Revelwood in an interesting area, but I've been working a lot on different paths around it, something new that I had been working on. This was again like maybe a month or so ago at this point. But it'd be interesting to check out if the rake could make that even more interesting. Okay. So, take a moment to pause and see what we can do at the forge. We can make metal sheets. We need metal sheets for something, but I don't know exactly what. Is it just a general thing at this point? Metal scraps, I know is he's... Okay, so metal sheets would be his Rising Fighter armor. Yeah, we should be able to make the full fur chest. Actually, I don't know how many animal furs we have. I don't know that we've gotten all that many, despite all the wolves nearby. Okay, 35, so if we have 35 in total, we only need 7, so that'd be 14 between us two. But we do need the glider still.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing that would be helpful to have here is a workbench. Yeah. Unfortunately, crafting takes a long time before you get magic chests, which is perhaps a good thing. Make you really appreciate having a magic chest, especially on a replay. We're hitting the wrong buttons. There we go. I'll just put the workbench somewhere in here. So a little bit neat actually having the ivy inside. That's a bit different. Like in a technically cleaned up base that would not be the case, but I think we're going to replace the entirety of this flooring anyway. At some point. Ooh, bedtime. What do you know? There's very convenient beds even in this. Although I really feel like I should be going. Let's hope I don't fall through a hole. I think I've actually done this run so many times that I remember the path in the dark to avoid the holes from that ladder. Could you put the rake down? Okay, that's just a little note for that. So yeah, I am all sorts of distracted right now. This looks kind of somewhere between terrible and atrocious. I feel like that's slightly better. So yeah, replacing the flooring in this building, but also the wall. I'm not sure the best way to do this, but I think in the long run, or at least medium term, what we would be looking to do to that building is using the flintstone here, which you might sometimes hear me call it riverstone because that's what my wife called it originally. So I've kind of caught on to also calling it riverstone. But with the flintstone, where are my building blocks? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get so much into the building here. It just kind of happened. She's probably used to it too, though. Mm-hmm. But we were planning on replacing, I think, the base wall with flintstone. And I think one of the effective ways to do this might be like this. Essentially doing where that wall is, going one higher, then we can right click and delete all of that at once. So, and then we can go back to the original wall height there. We can't, by comparison, if we did that, we aren't placing any blocks, so nothing is happening. You can't just right click and remove. But if you build that full wall and have a little bit outside of it like that, then you can delete that full wall that you built, which happens to encompass a lot of the stone. So that's a way to get rid of a lot of the stone and replace it with flintstone at the same time. Now here I notice that there, Piper? What? Cat? Dang, she's like right out of the camera view. She is really going at this. There's a Velcro hook and loop tie for the let's see, I can show it to you all. The microphone there, where it's connected to the arm. She was really going after that, rubbing against it with her chin. Oh my, Piper. I don't even notice it. She just kind of turns into background noise. She does this so much. But it's like, wow, what are you doing, cat? Yes, Piper has announced her presence. So with that, we don't, but at the moment I go back to the game, would you like to bother her? She's like, not really, but she's going to accept it at least. Okay, so we know the wall's going to go there. I think maybe for a marker. So for a marker, I'm going to... There we go. I'm still used to the other keybind, which I know I could always change it. So I think one more. Okay, so for a marker, that's the top of the wall. And then this part's going to be a little bit more special because it's like right on the outside. So we're going to go one above and then there. I'm going to do this. I don't know if this is interesting for you all to see. It's kind of weird sharing the building process that I had not intended to get through. But yeah. And then I should be able to, where that is, go down and then do kind of the same thing with destroying. So I should be able to go down quite a bit, just build and destroy. And then that should be enough to put that in there. Hello, Randall. You said you can't decide between this and Tainted Grail. I don't think I've actually heard of Tainted Grail, but there are, I've noticed, a number of survival building games and just general adventure games that would probably really interest me that I just didn't know existed. It's a genre that I haven't been too much into, and maybe for a little bit of a historical context with me in the genre is most of my experience with it is Minecraft, but I have played a lot of MMOs. The thing is, MMOs have gotten... just the general concept of them has become less and less appealing over time, and then I played New World, which I think had a lot of elements that made me think of survival games, like a little bits of Valheim that I had seen. It reminded me of that, so I looked a little bit more into it, and I was like, at one point, did I overshoot the wall by an inch? Yeah, this was a pre-built area in the game, and kind of trying to turn it into a base for us, so we're converting the stone wall at some point into flintstone. I just wanted to give a little look of what that might look like. It's got rid of all the ivy, but eventually we'll be able to put that back. I don't know exactly when, but I think at least some point by the Revelwood, if not earlier, you can. But yeah, with New World, I started having a growing interest in the genre. Now, New World I didn't end up playing for too terribly long, but I really enjoyed the little bit of it that I played. And that made me interested in trying out Valheim, but I was like, okay, I'm enjoying doing Lotro and like just generally having a fun time making videos and the such. And there was this game called Return to Moria that was very nicely related to my Lotro stuff. I wonder if I can already build... We could try to already build a fancy doorway. This is the thing, though, is that that's going to actually take me designing something, which is going to take a little bit of time, but you know what? How are you doing?
What?
How are you doing if I do more building?
Oh, up to you.
Okay. Oh my, why, when, what? But yeah, I forgot where I was, but yeah, Return to Moria, that was really interesting because it related to me doing Lotro by being Lord of the Rings and being a survival building crafting game. So I was like, I'll wait for that. And eventually Return to Moria did come out and I really enjoyed it. That was a lot of fun, and that's just a little bit of the reason. It's a part of the story of why I had the break from YouTube for 2 years. I think I mentioned that in the video. I think we want this fairly centered, but honestly it doesn't have to be. Almost like leaning this slightly to the left. I don't know why. There's a lot of things with building I have no idea why. It's just something that I'm like, that seems like it'd look neat. So I'm just gonna punch a kind of giant hole to get an idea of what we're working with here. Now let's see, that's built pretty high relative to here, which isn't a bad thing, but it's like actually got me thinking about what would an entranceway here look like. Would we have stairs on the outside? And I'm guessing it would be stairs on the outside. Whatever those are made out of, but we can maybe do like flintstone. If we had stairs like that, maybe not exactly like that, but if we had stairs like that, and then I did like very roughly, I do something like that. Maybe I would want a little bit more room, but that's one of the things I really like on this game is it's super easy to destroy something if you do it and end up not liking it. So I might not even do this out of flintstone, but this is an easy block that we have without getting new blocks and trying to do something fancier. Yeah, that's really narrow. I don't know why I went that way with it. Oops. But with Return to Moria, I really enjoyed that, and then eventually saw on Steam Enshrouded and something I had heard of a bit. And it's like, okay, what if we tried that? So this would be we as in my wife and somebody else that we had playing with us. And it turns out we really like the game, and it's opened up the world of survival, crafting, building, whatever, games more than it ever had been for me. Most of my experience in the genre was with Minecraft, and that I definitely played Minecraft a bit, but I actually watched a bit of Minecraft on YouTube. It was probably like as far as content consumption on YouTube, it was the main thing that I had for a while. Something about this entire thing feels off. I'm not entirely sure right now. Building is a slow process for me. I also sometimes like to look at different pieces of like inspiration, essentially. Yeah, so I almost wonder if I'd benefit from doing something like that, where it's a little bit wider. I don't know, I was trying to do just a small feature here as well, like not make this a grand entrance, but just make it a little bit of something, but not too grand. Okay, this might turn out okay. I think if we do make it a little bit tall. Yeah, with Minecraft, I focused with the content watching. I focused on a lot of more building oriented stuff and just people creating things and some different like more story based content. I know Minecraft varies a lot, so just giving some context. And that was something I was always interested in with just the general genre, was the building, the creating. That's even when I did play Minecraft what I liked. So having something like Enshrouded and some of the other games has really drawn me in lately. Alright, this is probably going to look rough, but... There's Piper storming back. Okay, what do you all think? Is it terrible? What do you think? I know the roof doesn't match, and it's like we don't have access to that other roof. I don't know if we plan. If there's ever a time where, oh, apparently we ran out of disk space again. I might have to look into our storage. Essentially, storage server seems to be thinking it's running out of disk space, even though I don't think it is or should be. So I'm not sure what's going on there, because we recently moved several hundreds of gigabytes off, so I'm not entirely sure. I might actually have to look on that system what is going on there. This is a slightly new setup for us. Something that could be conducive for both of us to be going. But yeah, that... Not entirely sure, but that's okay. We can look into that later. That just means if I ever need to clip anything from the stream and use part of it as a video, then that video is going to have all of this stuff going on. With it, the face cam in the chat. That's one of the reasons I like to record streams. Wow, she turned my volume way up. I didn't notice that because I was tapped out there for a lot of that. And then the music started playing. Wow, you really turned the volume up, Piper.
The bed is occupied. She had to retaliate.
So Piper's bed is occupied by Lexi. So Piper's just kicking it back behind my keyboard. I can't help but feel like this looks thoroughly ridiculous. I don't know what to do at the moment to not make it not look thoroughly ridiculous, though. I think finishing the wall, moving the wall all the way down would help. And then yeah, I don't know exactly what to do for the stairs, though. I mean, you could put the stairs in the wall, but that might do. Okay, let's see if we can put the stairs in the wall. Shoot, where do we want the stairs, though? We want it like that. Can you all tell I'm a very professional builder? I like the feel of the slower incline, but I'm not quite sure that's what exactly we need here. Yeah, not only does it take me forever to build anything, I can do a lot of back and forth, and it's like, it could be entirely possible that if I were to come back to this world tomorrow, that I would just be like, what in the world was I... Yeah, this does look a little bit odd. I would be like, what in the world was I thinking? This needs fixing. That much I know. Something is way off here. I was not prepared to build either. I do not know what's going on. That's something.
Would you like to go on an adventure and come back?
Yeah, it probably would be best. I'll leave that there. That's going to be a new entranceway, and we can at least destroy this monstrosity. So we have a new temporary entranceway. Let's do a whole giant foundation there. Ta-da! And then this will definitely look fine and not patchwork. Actually, it does look relatively fine. Okay, sorry for all the building and destroying, but that is mostly to get that wall actually properly set. We'll have to look from the other side to see if it's even right. And the wall's actually like as high up or whatever as it should be. And then there was the window somewhere around there-ish. Oh, a little bit off. There's the window. And then we can do one more. There we go. Got the window back. And then there's all the ivy covered stone here that we would need. So yeah, this is mostly like the other one, just placing the wall enough to where it covers some of the stone so I can destroy it all at once. From the outside, I can't help but feel like that window looks a little bit odd. That might be a little bit due to the modifications we made here and the lack of wall. But with that, we can fill in all this hard work I did on making this area. We can fill that in with and dirt. Create that giant slope there. I think I can go bigger, and then I can fine tune and do a smaller angle. Oh my. Oh, this got a little too tall. That's something I remember often happening with the rake, is that you would like do it and then it would build up too tall if you were like trying to do a slope. But honestly, that still looks a lot better than I used to be able to do with the rake, so I'm not too unhappy with that, even though it definitely looks a little bit odd. Alright, we'll leave that there, and I think swapping to something else with maybe more progression would not be a bad idea at this point. Were we able to make any magic chests, or how's our status of that? We need nails from the blacksmith, and then we need a lot of shroud spores and active mycelium. We have enough active mycelium for one, and enough shroud spores for the one. So we could do a magic chest, or maybe we could wait until after the next adventure. Do you have any preference?
I don't think one will make enough difference.
Alright. I agree with that. Wigs with logs. Oh yeah, I'm pressing Shift R again to put stuff where I should be pressing R. I'm still not used to the keybinds. I'm sure you could probably change both of those back to the way they were, and I'd almost be tempted by the idea. Oh my, I have an extra water pouch, I have extra spells. I mean, these spells should be going to you. I think that's a whole fireball.
Oh,
not even a firebolt.
Oh.
Adventure supplies. Summoning staff. Oh, did we ever get our armor?
No.
Do you want to, or should we save that for later and get to adventuring?
At least gliders.
Oh, gliders, you are right. So what do we need for gliders? Probably the animal hides. And probably shroud wood. And I'm guessing all the stuff you just gifted me?
Yes.
Okay, cool. And then do we need string for it as well?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Ooh, we also need torn cloth and string. We can make a bunch of that from plant fiber. Get ready for some bulk crafting. Okay, so going back though to Tainted Grail, I realized I read this but didn't comment on it too much. It sounds like that's a little bit more RPG, whereas Enshrouded leans more on the survival. So that is free on Epic Games. Interesting, that might be worth a quick look into. Haven't heard of that one. Alright. Okay. We're going, aha! There's not an entrance there anymore. Then we are building gliders! Then we can equip that and ta-da! We can now glide! I'm so used to just having that in the game, but we got so...
I meant to equip that. Gift.
Far. Thank you. I'll take 2 gliders. Double the gliding.
Just out of habit.
Alright. Oh, I'm missing metal scraps. Are there metal scraps in that chest? I think I put some up.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, do you want me to give you this stuff? Or do you want me to make you the armor?
You can make whatever we...
I guess I should have done 2 each. But, let's say, oh yeah, you can salvage armor now. That's really weird to see that on crafted armor too. So we'll actually be able to salvage this when we're done with it. But yeah, this should be a pretty big upgrade. Some of these pieces didn't even have armor before. Oh, I can't. Threadbare pants, I can't salvage, so I'll just destroy those. We don't need those hanging around necessarily. Oh, did I forget to give you a hood? I have 2 of them, so I'm going to guess so.
Yeah.
Alright. So, we look a little bit more safe now. Nails! I think there's a quest for that. Runes. It takes a lot of runes to upgrade this armor.
Oh,
I'm
shit.
honestly not sure it'd be worth upgrading this armor when we could just get the next crafted set relatively soon. Maybe not terribly soon, but relatively soon.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna need aerated banshee gels, so those will probably take a moment to get. At least for me. For you, playing a wizard with the alchemist, I have no idea how that'll look for you. And then, yeah, I think if we had runes, if anything, I would upgrade this hatchet. Maybe the ring to get the stamina regeneration. Otherwise, I think I could salvage the rusty greatsword here. Because that's like the same as my other one, but the purple one could be upgraded more. That said the rusty greatsword can't hold a gem, but I'll salvage that one, I'll salvage the blunt knives, and maybe see what we can upgrade with that. Okay, I could do 1 upgrade. Yeah, I'm probably not going to do much upgrade. That's a bit pricey for what we have right now. Oh, you know what? I don't think I have a shield. If I'm going to be using a one-hander, I should probably get myself a shield. Let's see what his shield takes to make. Metal sheets and wood logs. Should be able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Although we need to make the metal sheets. I don't know how long those take to make, but okay. So the metal sheets, they were charcoal and wood or something like that?
It'll be charcoal and the metal scraps.
Oh, do I still have the metal scraps?
Probably.
Okay, good. We can glide! Okay. That takes 2 minutes to make. Wow. I think I might, well, we might need metal sheets for other things, so I'm going to go ahead and make some more of those. And then I will take the metal sheets we have in our chest right now. Alright, so waiting a couple minutes for this one to get done, and that will let me make the shield. Oh, and we could also make scrappy pickaxes and axes when we get more metal scraps. Sounds like we should get metal scraps.
Mm-hmm.
And I know a particularly great place to get metal scraps. I don't... Oh, wow. Flame altar and the base improvements. What's the one on that? Empowers you... In order to strengthen sparks and other materials. Okay, so it's wanting us to go to like a flame sanctum, flame shrine, something that just happens to be pretty close to our chosen location for our base. Looks like the ancient spire is our next one, but yeah, there's in this area a scavenger town that's particularly good. At least last time we went there. Who knows if it's been changed? But that should be quite good for metal scraps. It might be a worthy adventure for us at this point. We haven't fought much scavengers anyway at this point. Okay, I'll see if I can get the shield now. That's nope, still not done. How about this? I'll put, well, no, I need all this stuff for crafting. Well, we'll sit here, wait, and be patient. Don't worry, I'm definitely very patient. Oh, I don't know if I've seen this before.
Oh, wow.
I don't think I've seen that before. The
Yeah.
animation with this. That's magical. Oh, it just had a little hitch there, so I assume that means it finished. Something about cozy. Oh, why did I think I needed 2?
I have no idea.
Okay. Apparently I needed 5, and I just can't read. Alright then. Oops.
Would you like to hit up anyway?
Yeah, that's probably for the best. I don't really need a shield.
You can have mine. I'm not using it.
I could also probably make a super easy one at the workbench. I was just like, if we can make the better one, I might as well, but...
Hey.
Manual crafting?
Yeah.
Ah! Oh, wooden shield. That's better than nothing still.
Mm-hmm.
Haven't looted one from one of the blue guys. I mean, one of the fell. Alright, I shall be depositing stuff like a madman.
You deposit things any other way, ever?
Apparently, this is my problem with taking whole stacks of everything we have, is I can't just arc them in. You know what, I'm gonna put those there.
Okay.
I also don't need so many torches. Too bad we can't salvage those. I guess I'd go in adventuring supplies or something. Okay. That's probably good enough. Oh, no, I still got my rig. It takes me so long to get ready for adventure in this game. I don't know if anybody's similar, but I feel extra... You know what? I can bring some food. I feel extra special in that way. I say, as I'm remembering that, I'm like, I can bring more food. I can actually be ready. Fortunately, we have a nice hearth to cook at. Is it nighttime?
Feels like the sun's going down.
Okay, sounds like it might be about nighttime, which makes sense. It has been day for a while, so maybe we could even get a rest before adventuring. I think that's one thing, though, that I like about this game, is that there is no specific pressure to really speed through things and do things like at an immensely fast pace. So it's like taking the time to build, to clean up, to work on things. As rough as they still look out here, I think it's a little bit better shape than it was in. And even just me taking forever to get ready for adventures, it's like, it's still okay. It's still me playing the game, and it's really not a bad thing to me. Alright, 'tis nighttime. Can sleep. Ooh, looks like I get the fancy bed.
Mm-hmm.
This is also now Lexi here, so both cats are hovering around my keyboard.
What could go wrong?
Especially with a water bottle right here.
Mm-hmm.
Cat petting break. Your back legs are right where my left hand needs to go, Lexi. Thank you. So this is the slightly less frequently seen Lexi. She is now just staring at OBS. Oh, she's watching the where it has the little audio mixer. She's watching the that like a little indicator for your volume level. And it's connected to the microphone is the one she was watching. Okay, we ready for adventure finally?
Mm-hmm.
It only took what, like 5 hours it felt like?
Mm-hmm.
I think one thing I'm excited to eventually get is trees. More trees around our base. I notice we see a lot of the cliff and the mountain, which isn't bad. Like, I definitely don't mind looking up and seeing mountain, but... Oh, yeah. Hop pears. I don't think we've run into too many of them. Also, we can just glide our way down now.
That's how we want to go.
That works for me. I hadn't really considered. I just started running. Which I think is so often how it goes. I guess we can poke our toes into the shroud here, but we should be able to. For some reason that did not look like flintstone, that looked like something super fancy. There's also that really weird strip of deadly shroud. I assume that's like unintended. It's like just a tiny strip in that area. Well, maybe it is a little bit lower elevation, so maybe it's intended to have a tiny strip of deadly shroud there. Yeah, we are headed pretty much in the right direction, I think. I don't know.
I was about to say,
That looks like it. I just kind of go directions and hope for the best. Alright, I do see some structure over here to our left, so I'm guessing that's it. Although this house actually doesn't look the most familiar to me. But this is a part of Rickmore, which I'm familiar with all the town that's like above the character's head there. Yeah. Why lockpick when you can axe? I expected there to be somebody in here. Oh my. This is a quite destructive axe. Or page. In sickness and in health. Oh. That's a pretty sweet note. Alienor. Yeah, there's definitely some sadder notes with just the general destruction that the shroud caused, and just reading a little notes like that about different people's lives as things go on and things like that. I know those cloth bundles used to be quite good for metal scraps, just hanging out on them kind of randomly. We'll see if that's still the case. I wonder if Brookmore would be interesting to rebuild. Like, actually thinking about us taking that approach to the game. With Peaceful Acres. It'd be a lot of work, because this one's like really turned into rubble. And, oh, there's some explosive barrels. This is definitely gonna go well. Oh, I can't even shoot it. Oh well. Yeah, I'll have to actually go around. Cool. Actually, I can't tell who that was. Did you fire a spell, or was that my arrow?
I also did a fireball.
Okay. That was an easy kill, though. I have Bakalunius experienced most of the content in Enshrouded. There's a little bit in the Veilwater Basin that we never got to. I don't exactly know how much, but I think we ended up doing most of that. I just know there's a lot of little stuff that we didn't quite get finished there. I was gonna say, this guy's gonna make it easy if he's never gonna start his attacking animation. He did get one little hit on me though. Well, there's some metal scraps. I'm curious, for you all that play this game, what do you typically do with the loot settings? Because right now we have everything pretty much on default settings for loot. But I was curious if you'll typically increase the loot amount, or if you even pay much attention to that. And I ask partially because we've played the game a lot, so with some of our newer playthroughs, and especially ones where we really intend to do a lot of building, we'll increase the loot amount, just so I spend less time needing to go out farming things and farming resources. but I'm not sure what people in general do, and I'm guessing it depends on your playstyle and like what you do with the game. One thing I know, popular resources like the Shroud Depot, which is basically a world server that has fancy halls of everything in the game for you to just take. Basically, can help turn your game into creative mode. But something that we like and something I've always appreciated in games like this, and at least the idea of, is at least collecting the resources on our own, even if we need a ton of resources. I do like the feeling of having gone through the collection, but then I also at the same time don't mind turning the loot way up just to make that collection a little bit easier, but it's still us collecting. Did you find some? Oh, a gold chest. I see what's interesting. First I gotta smash stuff. I got priorities. Shivs. Kind of boring, to be honest. Maybe the game was mad at me for prioritizing smashing stuff. That looks rigged with explosives. So I'm gonna loot it and then run away. Oh man, that would have been so convenient if it blew them up. That would have been unintended, but so convenient. Well, I was trying to loot. Turns out the game thought, you should grapple here. One day they might add a vacuum loot like Return to Moria has. Alright, this one I can't quite trust myself. I'm sorry. Oh, I feel bad.
Hey, it wasn't fall damage. I feel accomplished. I'm just gonna use that repair.
That's how we were doing this playthrough, is that since it has been, well, I guess we kind of started a world recently, but it's maybe been a little bit since we've done just default settings. We usually turn the difficulty and enemies up and loot up. So this one we went pretty default, except we did turn on starvation, and fishing in this game is one where I just turned that to the bottom. I'm not a fan of making sure you're out of the way. I'm not a fan of the fishing mechanic in this game, so we have turned that to the one where it basically gets rid of the mechanic, and that makes me enjoy fishing more, so you might actually see me fishing. Yeah, that's another thing we've done, is turn off the need for repair and turn off the loot lost on death. We've also done, in the Stormbreeze village world that I've talked about, we've also done that one where we actually lose everything on death. So that one was intended to a little bit increase the danger in the world and make us pay attention on adventure more. To like actually try not to die. Make it more impactful. And I think it's brought back some of the danger we felt our first time going through, because I know this area in particular was like, we were working in this particular basement here, and it was like there was one particular scavenger that was like really difficult with that. And then I think we accidentally like threw a bomb and blew each other up. Ooh, dried fur. A small backpack recipe. There's actually a little backpack I think we might be able to craft. I saw that we don't have. I don't know if we might have had the ingredients for it. It's just one of the many things that we got that I forgot about because you got so much stuff that you can do. Yeah, I'm not sure about the heavy attack with some. Wow, that dude. Not sure about the heavy attack with the axe. That didn't seem to do too much.
Okay,
oh, rising fighter shield. That's funny. That's actually the crafted one. Being able to do that is a little bit different with this update. How are we doing on metal scraps? I have 52.
I've got 15.
Alright. I think I still have some of this place to loot. They made it easier to destroy some of the metal things though, like those, and get a few metal scraps out of them, so that's a bit interesting. I don't know about those spikes, but yeah, no, that's still giving metal scraps. It really does seem like they've made it easier. I think I'm going to head to the basement. I don't know what's down there. If you would like to go out, destroy stuff. Oh, found a bit. Yeah, with fishing, I guess just to clarify, it's not so much that I find it difficult, but it's just I'm not a fan of it. I get bored with fishing with the mechanics. Oh wow, there wasn't even anybody down here.
Really?
Ah, repair. Any secret walls here? Not seeing any. Oop. Ah, well. Maybe it's a little bit early in the game for that. Normally I'd expect in a spot like that to totally have a secret wall. Or a secret door. I guess the wall wouldn't so much be a secret as what's behind the wall. Roaring scavenger fire. Ah, it's a tree up here. It's actually kind of interesting. This has been nice looking. Whee! I don't really know what I'm doing, but I'm having fun wall jumping here. There is a lore page over this way. And a scavenger. Oh. Oh.
I ran into the wall.
I was trying to dodge, but I was stuck starting to read the lore page, but then I was able to dodge, and then I saw you kind of get blown up. Huh. I don't even know what the lore page was at this point. Might be able to find it again. Probably somewhere in here.
Yeah, there it is.
Okay, this one, it's the elixir. The source of the recipe is otherworldly. Going back to that, what does it actually say? So it's just like the elixir blood of it's a formula that Balthazar is the alchemist. But he is somebody we'll actually pick up, and it's a formula that he doesn't quite grasp. But yeah, it's like made from, looks like flesh of, I think, basically talking about kind of like the mycelium, if I had to guess. But it like grants power, but then where he fills his heart. I mean, basically the elixir, this is like an early hint of it, but elixir is a source of problems. Where we killed the fell thunderbrute earlier was an elixir well. And that was full of shroud, as you all might remember. And had a whole entire shroud root associated with it. Okay, did we loot this whole place? Do you think we did a decent job there? Oh, there's a chest here. It had one explosive powder ball. Is there inside to that? No. This area does look a little bit different than I last remember it. Some of the details, some of it's pretty much the same, but it seems like, oh, there's another basement here?
Oh, that might have been where I got the shield in the wall. Yeah.
Oh my, a lot of metal scraps here.
Oh.
I realize this isn't going to be much effective, but I just want to spin. That was kind of fun. And I killed a rat in the process at some point. Okay, did you get the shield from that chest?
Uh-huh.
Okay, I see. Okay, so this just kind of tunnels through. Interesting. Alright. Now are we? Do we feel pretty comfortable with what we looted?
I think this place is even more looted than when I last lost him.
Alright. Did we go... Sorry to distract again. But actually looking just out in general, I see a little cave, but it looks slightly more interesting than just some... Okay. I think... I actually can't entirely tell if this is like... It's kind of like the sight line. Just looking around, I was kind of drawn to this, like it's something that might be important to go to. So we could potentially check out this cave, or we could call it there. But we already checked out that building, so we can see. All right, what is in here? You know, it might help to hold a torch. Ah, there's some glowy stuff. And some little things to search. I should probably be getting you my fireballs. So this just looks like a little cave path. Well, no, it keeps going up. I'm curious. Curious where it goes up. That's interesting. I don't remember this being a thing. Okay, so that just seems to go up. Does it go somewhere interesting? Where are we on the map? Okay, this is actually close to where we made our trek to our base, actually. Eventually leading to Peaceful Acres, we went around the left there. There's some flintstone here. But yeah, I think with that I'm pretty satisfied and would be good to return.
Okay.
If you are. Alright. Sounds like it's time to return home from adventure. I don't know if we did any of the quests, but we raided a random scavenger town, so that makes me happy. And we got a lot of metal scraps. I don't even remember what all those are used for besides something.
Scrappy
tools. Scrappy tools, and then I think I was also thinking about magic chests and being able to do more of those, but we need a lot more active mycelium and shroud spores, so that's probably going to take another shroud adventure or 2 or 3 for us to really build up towards. Can probably start salvaging some old stuff here as well. I guess I don't have all too much to salvage, but especially with the amount of runes you need to upgrade stuff, I think we'll be salvaging a lot more than we usually do. Especially with armor, now that you just can salvage that. And then I think I got some spells for you. I'm not sure I used any of my cooked food that I brought. I might have. Yeah, maybe this chest wall wasn't actually too much overkill for this early in the game. I thought maybe we would be able to do small magic chests a little bit earlier. Which, of course, at this point we could go ahead and start building the small chest, but yeah, only being able to do one of those right now. I think it'd be nice to be able to do like 2 or 3 or more, of course, to start. All right. So I think as far as crafting goes, we probably would benefit, I suppose, from the crappy. I mean, relative to other stuff in the game, I'd say these are quite crappy, but I prefer to think of them as scrappy. I think we could go ahead and do those. Yeah, the metal sheets, I mean, I got that shit now. I don't know if you want it, but you could do that. I think I should also maybe... Sorry for the yawn, it's like past my bedtime at this point. Some days. Also look at the workbench. Yeah? Oh, wow, I got a lot of... When did we get all these decorations? Maybe we've had them, and they're just not something I paid the most attention to. Yeah, a lot of that looks familiar, except maybe the scavenger bonfire. I can do that now.
That was by us discovering scavengers. When we walked into the camp, the hearth and a lot else popped.
That makes sense. Alright. Yeah. So not too much else. Oh, the backpack, that's what it was. The small backpack takes dried fur, which we don't have much of yet. We don't have a reliable source of dried fur. Wasn't there in the tiny backpack though? I don't think I've made... Yeah, I haven't made the tiny backpack. So that's the one that I saw. So that's just torn cloth and string. That's quite silly of me. Run to the well. Am I gonna make it? I made it.
That wasn't even that much of a margin.
Yeah, it wasn't actually that bad. Alright, so I need a string and torn cloth. I do so much better with my crafting once we actually have the magic chest. That's why I'm going on and on about them. I like not having to need everything in my inventory. That's one of the things, talking a little bit about Minecraft earlier, one of the things that makes that game, it's an entirely different game. I think it kind of makes sense the way it works, but being able to craft from chests and that would also be convenient. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a whole array of mods that makes that game almost more like something like Enshrouded. Wow, we actually have a decent bit of runes. But I think because I got the felling axe special thing, I think I'll actually reskill here. Redo my skill points. And maybe actually focus on something more useful for the character. So I was really interested in trying out the two-handed specialization, all the specialization things. And on that note, as much as I love the progression updates in this game compared to how it was before, just in general, and how much I really like the combat update and the special attacks and the such, I honestly almost feel like most of this stuff should just kind of be baseline for your character. Something like merciless attack, and then also the specialization things. I really kind of feel like those should be just like a baseline. If you're using that weapon, then you use it a bunch and eventually you get a special attack, and that's just like, you shouldn't need all the skills for it, is mostly I think how I feel about that. That includes like, there's like the sneaking attack thing too, right? Ambush or whatever. Sneak attack, that's actually what it's called. But I feel similar with kind of sneak attack and merciless attack and some different things like that. So it's, I think, a bit unfortunate that I'd have to like go all the way in the skill tree to get those, but that is something I'll have to consider when I build this character. That said, do you think we're ready for double jump? The thing that basically every character should have in this game. We actually spent a long time on our last playthrough without double jump, and it's like eventually, I think we might have made it all the way to the Revelwood before we decided to get double jump. It was like, okay, it's time, we'll do it. But it's just something we try to avoid because it's kind of been an auto pick for pretty much everybody we've done. And similar with Updraft, in that world, this is the Stormbreeze Village one I talked about earlier. In that world, that's the one we also lose everything when we die. We have decided to try to play as long as possible without Updraft, which is another thing we have gotten on pretty much every character. That said, Updraft has actually changed a lot in Update 8, and it's different. It's going to take a lot of getting used to. I won't be able to use it as I used to, and it's a little bit sad and disappointing in a way because it was exciting and I think it added an interesting dynamic for escaping combat, for better or worse, especially on my wizard. I quite like that flexibility, so not having that's going to be a bit different. But it's still really nice to just generally navigate the world. So I don't know what we'll do with that with these characters. I think these characters, this world's a little bit different, so I won't be surprised if we get that at some point. But yeah, I am going to get double jump, and I don't know from here. Probably strength and honestly constitution at this point is probably quite effective. Yeah, I have 125 health compared to just like 5% boosted melee damage. I think I would like an extra 50% increase in health almost. Where's that one? Skills. That would get me to one-handed specialization. That's actually, wow, I can already get that. Could also get heavy plates. Actually be more defensive, but I like damage. Okay, that's cool. I didn't think I'd be able to get that, so yeah. I'll be able to get the special attack with my hatchet, especially since that's my main weapon now, because it's so much better than my little greatsword, level 1 greatsword there. But yeah, that is that for that character. And I think with that we're pretty well set up, so we're kind of set for our next adventure or building or whatever. My inventory is actually very oddly clean. I'm probably going to look into this. It feels and looks a little bit odd, but I'm not entirely sure what to do with it yet. That might just take some thinking about and looking at it a little bit more depth than that just a little quick ad, but it's an entranceway. We have that to the side now and restored some of the bits over here and replaced with flintstone. So yeah, on that note, I am interested in general what you all think of the building and what it looks like. This is very much so a work in progress, so I again am really open to ideas and just hearing different ideas and feedback and the such. But I think with that, seems like we're kind of winding down here. So I think this is going to be a good point to wrap up. But with that, I hope you all did enjoy Enshrouded and me finally getting a chance to stream it and share that with you all. Even with the number of videos we've had, I will probably continue doing more Enshrouded and mixing it in because I have been really enjoying this game. But yeah, again, hope you all enjoyed, and if you did, please consider liking and subscribing for more, and thanks for joining, chatting, and watching, everyone.